Hello everyone, I am Galaxy Drifter and welcome back to this new video of Trailmakers. Today I want to talk to you about cockpits. As you know, I really like to build planes in Trailmakers. My first videos were about planes. And so today I want to show you what I think about various types of cockpits and how I personally like to build them and improve on some design that I saw around on the internet and also from other players while playing. So let's open build mode. And here I have my custom cockpits folder. Now I built this folder in the last week. Some cockpits I had for a long time, others I just made them up in these days as just to show you how one could build a cockpit and how it should be built in my opinion. So let's start with this one. This is a classic cockpit that you see a lot around because it is a really nice cockpit. It is cool looking and the best builds make use of this type of cockpit. But I don't personally like it for various reasons really. I've seen this cockpit being used the first time by Yuzi, which is a YouTuber I follow, and I talked about him other times on my channel. And this makes for really nice planes. The best looking planes, in fact, are built like this, but there are some flaws that I would like to address. First of all, if we go into aerodynamics, here it is, we can see that it is not really the best. For a start, we have a red in here for the piston, which is not good. Some yellow over here for these rounded corners inverted, which could be better. A not really good looking green in here for the motorcycle seat. And if you want to be fair, this type of wedge, it is good with arrows, but it could be better as well. So what could we do about it? Well, here I have my solution. If we put them side by side, first thing we can see is that mine is just a bit longer. Just a second, I don't like to see it like this. Okay, now nothing is blinking, and let's just do it like this. Okay, very well. So, as I was saying, my cockpit is just a block longer than than the standard. Let's call it that what I saw online, and that's because I like to fix this aerodynamics problem of the rounded inverted corners, which could also be I also seen here the 1x2 wedge being used in its place. In some cases it's really up to personal taste, but yeah, as you can see the wedge has worse arrows than inverted corner. So usually people use rounded inverted corners, and how I did fix this is by adding this block here that has been added just recently. In fact, is a design that I've improved just recently over the past month. And here the L bracket for some reason has a really good aerodynamics, and it covers the bad aerodynamics of the rounded inverted corner over here. So just by making it a tiny bit longer, we can have better aerodynamics. The piston also which has bad arrows, it can be fixed by lowering it just by a block, as you can see. Just a block lower and makes a lot of difference. But we still have the problem of the motorcycle seat, which does not really work that great, and there's not really any good way to fix it, as I've tried. I mean, you could maybe use some shield blocks, but where are they? Okay, but there's no really good way. Like, one could be put, one could be put right here, and but there's no really another way to put, what's happening, to put another shield like this or like this. It's kind of weird. The best thing I guess one could do is to put L brackets over here like this, but it's kinda, I don't know, it doesn't look that great really, but let's just try for science. So I mean, you can see them as maybe if you paint them black, like glass black, a bit better like this, but you know, it's not really the best looking thing ever, but is a lot better than what it was before. So that's the first thing. Second thing is that if you go in first person, you can't really see that well inside. I mean, you can see, but there's just this weird effect that I personally despise. I cannot pilot an airplane in first person with this on my screen. I just can't take it. It's too ugly. I'm sorry. I've tried to make do, but it's just too ugly for me. Second thing is, piston is a bit heavy. That might mess up with the weight, but not really. It's just a piston, really. How does it match? That's 6.4 kilograms. It's not really that bad. But anyways, having a piston here being glitched into something else could cause some problems, some other kinds of problems down the road. If you are curious on how to build these cockpits, I just have you take a look at them, panning around a bit. Take them in. And for the pistons, for this one, you have to set them to 0.33, and for the second one to 0.67. I find that is the best thing. They will never fit exactly, but will fit pretty close. You wouldn't even see the difference. And so that was the one cockpit, the cockpit A. I just give them the name A so I don't confuse them with nothing else. So now let's go over the cockpit B, which is a cockpit that I use quite a lot actually. This is inspired by Yuzi as well, from his F-18 that I have right here, as I already showed you. Where is it? Here it is, F-18. I messed it up, F-18. As you can see, this is its F-18 and this is my custom cockpit. Now it's not really the same, as his has some tiny cannons hidden inside and some other things, but if you take off all the surplus stuff, this is basically the base of it. I mean, these are not made and set, they cannot never be changed. In fact, when I use this, I change them a lot actually. especially these blocks right here. Those are just placeholders. In here I usually just fit my usual flight control that I already showed you with 3 gyros and 3 XOR gates and whatever. So this is a pretty easy cockpit to make, not many parts, just 15 blocks for this one. It is simpler than the nicer looking one. It doesn't look as nice, but it's still a nice cockpit that I use a lot. Next one, we go with the space seat. More of the same, but with a space seat. This style of cockpit I used for my latest plane that I showed you some time ago in a video. Where is it? Over here. Wait. Here it is. Oh wait, I just messed it up. That's not. I used the previous one. I used this one as well, but for something else. Let's see. Here it is. I showed you this plane. If I'm not mistaken, I should have shown it or some variant of it in my previous videos with all the planes. So, not really much to say about this. Let's get on to the next. And here we go back to some brick-built canopies. This is not as good looking as this. In fact, someone may find it quite ugly. And they would be right. But it could be worse, it could also be better, but it could be worse. It uses a go-kart seat, and basically it is more of the same of the previous the first cockpits that I showed you. If you go in first person inside, there's this effect which is better than the previous one, but there's still here. But there's actually a way to fix it that I found. And so if we go to here, as you can see, I've replaced the internal 2x4 with 4 rounded corners. Here they are. And this fan out actually helps a lot. If you want, you can put a shield on top. It's totally optional, but you can put it on there. And see, it is better. Does not have that glitchy effect. I mean, I still don't like here that you can see the layers and whatever, but it is a lot better. Now, I think I never use this for an actual plane. I tried, but then I discarded it, simply because even if the aerodynamic is really good, which it is, this wedge is not really the best at aerodynamics, and it tends to slow down the craft. And anyways, the go-kart seat doesn't really look that great. If you go in third person, here the carter doesn't really fit inside by leaning. Its head tilts outside, and which I find annoying. For some other people that's not really a problem, but for me personally it is, so I don't like to use this. And also this problem is in here on the first cockpit, which is even worse because it is even smaller, and so you can notice it a lot much more. I don't even know if my sentence was grammatically correct, but well, I said it. It stays like that. Okay, now we go into prop airplanes now. This is a type of cockpit that I've used as well, and that I've already showed you in my planes video. So let's see if I can find the plane in which I've used this. Well, no, actually I'm confused. I got it backwards with this other cockpit, which is basically the same, but instead of using just a cockpit, a base cockpit seat, it uses a space fighter cockpit. And with this space fighter cockpit, I built quite a lot of planes. I mean, it's just the same plane, I just changed the paint around because I like to make variants. No, not this one. I have lots of planes, as you can see. Over here. Here is with my BF-109 inspired plane. See? The same. Except over here that I told you I use as a placeholder. In here I've hidden Dragon Jet. Okay. Now let's come full circle. It's basically the same thing that I showed you with here with a jet fighter. It's just basically a custom-made canopy. The only thing that changes is the nose that now has a prop instead of just being a radome. Variant number 1 and variant number 2, which looks like a VF-109, more or less. It is inspired by that. And one could play around in here, maybe if we do a bit of this. One could make a bigger glass or smaller. I mean, one can fiddle around and find a better way to make things. But that's basically it for this one as well. Usually I think for why I don't use this cockpit is the same reason as this one, as I've already told you. And also props, I don't really like them because of poor arrows, but they are not usually that bad. They are way more maneuverable, I find, in dogfights. They have a tighter turn radius than jets, but that's just how physics work. Okay, next one. And this is what I've built on this week. I had to fiddle a bit around with the fuselage shape because not really that simple. And basically what inspired me is this block over here, the propeller air intake, which was made exactly for this purpose. Is a World War I style, more or less, type of plane. And it looks good, I must say. I think I did quite a good job, but I've yet to find to build a plane around this. Maybe I will at some point as an experiment, but I'm not really sure. But well, I don't really like this. First of all, this thing weighs 10 kilos, which makes it really nose heavy, and here all these blocks are unnecessary weight just to give it shape. So unless you hide a lot of engines inside, this thing is gonna be slow, bulky, heavy, and it's just not gonna fly that well. But it looks good, at least. Wouldn't fly good, at least I suppose, but it looks decent. And if you want, you can also have an open cockpit for more of World War I style planes, like late 800s, early 900s. It's basically more of the same. There is little difference except for over here on the back, but that's basically it. Well, thank you really much for watching this shorter episode. I've been Galaxy Drifter. I wish you all a good rest of your day and we will see each other in the next video. Goodbye everyone.